It's till the show begins. There's no Brant here. No guest. We got nothing. Got nothing going on. It's just me, all alone, all by myself. Just like the Green Day song. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Anybody in the chat? Hey, look, Survive This DE is here. Is that DE like Delaware? DE like Deutschland? What's the DE for? We've also got, looks like Cloudcraft and Garlic Burp came over from my channel. Takuro Spirit's here. Arky Games Cast is here. The whole Undead team is here. Undead Sonya, Undead Nicole. Han is here. Look at Han. Hi, Cadet. Hi, Cadet. All kinds of people. Yep, Survive This is from Deutschland. Nice. And Dunedane's like, I'm working, I can't watch. Well, good. Thanks for popping in and saying hi anyway. And yeah, so I don't know. So the challenge is infestations. Start a new game. Oh, did we die did we fail last time? Probably did. That's what we tend to do. Let's start at level 2. Maybe we'll have more infestations if we start at level 2. Ed? Should we start with Ed? With his fish stunner? Or maybe, old Andy Pims. Go old Andy Pims. Jacob. Eric Tan. Gurabani Carr. Yeah, let's go Ed. Takuro says I should go Pims. Too late. I already picked Ed. Sorry. Hey there, Cot Jackie. So, let's see here. We're not official for another 4 minutes. We're not really official until Brant shows up, because Brant is, of course, the star of the show. We've also got an artist hopefully coming to join us. A man of few words, so he might only pop in for a short time, but his name's Mark Lautenbach, so I'm looking forward to him showing up, if he does. If not, it'll just be me and Brant chilling with you folks, and that'll be fun. Okay, so Survive This says, Survive This is the biggest German survival news site. Just for your interest, it's not like you need to survive Germany. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I need to change to gotta change all my settings. I have my settings set for Brant. It's all in Brant mode. Hey, who do I got here? Got Maddox Redmond. Got Joel Simon. And of course, Lily Ritter. So one thing that, we'll bring this up a little bit later, one thing that I've been working on State of Decay 2 is the naming system. Because in the original, so how do you play this game? Because the original game, say each of these guys, each of these characters was handcrafted. The fact that this character's a daydreamer, a natural athlete, they carry a frying pan, they were a caterer, they've got the cooking skill. That was all put together manually by somebody. But look, the star of the show is finally here.
No. I only work here.
Let's see here, but yeah, so these characters were all sort of, they were all bespoke, but their names are randomly generated. And so we're changing up, and we haven't given a lot of details yet about exactly how things are different, but in State of Decay 2, we are changing things up. A lot more is going to be procedurally generated in the original game, but the naming system has also gotten an overhaul. And so at some point during this stream, I'm going to be asking you guys to help me out a little bit with the naming. So there's Brant, so I should probably hand the game off to him.
Wow, we've got
a ton of people.
Some heavy hitters here.
Yeah, exactly.
Takuro, Han, Kot.
Garlic Burp said that you were probably a little late because you were in hair and makeup.
Can't you tell?
So we got Survive This Deutschland is in here. Apparently a representative of a survival site, a German. So is it about survival video games specifically, or is it about survival, like real world survival? I'm curious what this website's about, and also I'm curious.
Es ist sehr gut.
There we go. I just inverted the y-axis. I mean,
Thank
this
you.
is yours. Would you like the headphones?
No.
No, you don't need it. You're just gonna fly. You're gonna fly deaf. Fly deaf, is that a word? Can you say that?
Sure.
Let's see, what time is it? Are we time to start the real stream? 1 minute till we start the real stream. Mom Prance is yelling at us. Hi, Mom Prance.
Hi, Mom Prance. Please don't yell.
I can hear you all the way from Morocco.
Cerebral Mises.
Oh yeah, Cerebral's here. And wait here, somebody said on Hi Cadet. Oh, Hi Cadet said that he found the second game that Brant ever worked on in his garage.
Yeah.
An old stack of CD games.
One of the Blues Clues games.
Oh man, that was okay. Yeah, so Brant and I both have a little bit of a history in making games for kids. And that's one of the things that put me at ease when I first was interviewing here was, I talked about the fact that most of the games I'd worked on had been, licensed games for children. And Brant was like, he admitted that he had worked on several Blue Clues games, and that put me right at ease. Like, okay, people understand. You start somewhere that doesn't define, your history doesn't define your limits, right? You can do all kinds of things with your life.
Hey, man, getting into this industry is hard enough.
Yeah,
you got to get your
seriously.
foot in the door. I'm proud of the work we did at Humongous, and man, I wouldn't be here without that funny blue dog.
Yeah, no, exactly. Same here. My first game was a Samurai Jack game, followed by a Shark Tale game, and it's like, and that kind of work doesn't get a ton of respect, partly because the budgets are usually really small. There's limits to what you can do. You're not like nobody's clamoring you for you to give a GDC talk or something like that on the work you did in a game like that, but. But you can. The problems there that you have to solve are still really interesting problems, and I just realized that our cameras are set weird. So right before we officially transition,
I don't need to be any larger on the screen. Except Corey. Corey likes to see. I think he likes to play me full screen.
Let me see if I can fix our cameras. They're just kind of off from the. That's okay. Here's this webcam. Let me mess with its settings. I know this is a lot of fun watching me mess with video settings. Where is the... I know there's a setting where I can get it to use the proper, Where is it?
Current goal, find a new home.
No, not Logitech support page. Configure manually? Video output? There we go. Yeah, so we don't want that. We want something that is... There we go. All right, now I gotta fix the other one. Unfortunately, yeah, so these cameras, because I was doing my own stream earlier, these cameras are they kind of automatically get set wrong for mine, but it doesn't automatically set them back for this, which is kind of weird. Like, there's only one direction that these things can get misset. They can only get misset to 16 by 9. They can't get misset to 4 by 3. Okay. Now we've got our presentation all set up. Let's start the real stream. Hi! Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Undead Labs monthly challenge stream thing. We are doing the May challenge and are probably not going to get anywhere near completing it because it's the one where you got to clear 15 infestations, and trying to do that in one session at the beginning of a breakdown game is probably not going to work. But, we'll kill any infestations we find.
Yeah. And
in the meantime, we'll chat with you guys. We probably, at some point in the near future, have got a friend who's going to come in and join us for a bit. If it feels like it. And we're also, I'm going to ask you guys for a little bit of help with State of Decay 2 a little bit later in the stream. So stick around. Looks like there's 31 of you, so I appreciate y'all showing up.
Thanks to everybody, especially those we haven't mentioned by name.
Yeah, we haven't called out everyone yet. Dark Resi is here, for instance. Batcat92 is here.
Andy B.
I think you're already welcome to Kuro Spirit and Cot Jockey, but there they are. Arc Games Cast.
The Bomb.
Wait, what is Ed's last name?
Ed.
This our Ed here. What's his last name? Well, after you're done sneaking up on that zombie.
Oh, I can totally hang out. Ed Jones.
Jones. Okay, so somebody in the chat called him Ed Helms, which I think is great. But then it completely voided my mind of his actual last name.
Who's Ed Helms?
Now I've lost it. I swear somebody did. There we are. Oh yeah, and Han told us the right name there. QMJS is here. I just went through some contest entries from some of you guys, and I'm sure that Sonia or Nicole is going to be announcing the winners of the career contest sometime soon, because we went through and judged them. I was actually pretty amazed when you guys. So for those of you who don't know, the community team ran a contest to help us. Not a contest. Wait, it was some kind of. We don't say contest, do we? Sonia, Nicole, what do I call contests that is not contest? Anyway, an event. There was an event where folks were contributing potential interesting.
That was the worst possible
decision.
Well, I mean, outcome from that, because I missed the feral and I.
And wow. You hit the floater. Oh, well, that worked okay.
At least he obliged by killing himself.
But yeah, so the where you guys were submitting at least some of you guys were submitting the like careers that would be useful and interesting in the zombie apocalypse. And the thing that was amazing to me was how many of the careers you suggested were things that I already had on my list. And some of the really weird ones you guys came up with too. Like there was rodeo clown I already had. What else was there? Taxidermist I had. Was there somebody suggested an acrobat? I think I didn't have circus acrobat, but I had amateur acrobat, which it's like the guy who just has to jump off his roof onto the trampoline. I had that guy. But yeah, there's all kinds of like similarities, which made me feel good. It made me feel like, okay, we're on the right track. We're thinking of the same stuff that people who play this game think of. When you're like, what careers, what people from the real world would you like to have, involved in your zombie community? It looks like a lot of the stuff that we already had in the game was stuff that you guys, it was the same stuff you guys would think of. So. Don't worry, survive this. We're doing a lot more of these. So that was just one particular event, but we've already got a queue lined up of several more of these that we want to do. Specifically, get going for traits for characters, things about their life history and who they are, and also names for characters. So keep your eyes on our Twitter account and on our forums, and you'll definitely we'll keep you apprised of what's going on. Han, a medical examiner, was already on the list. I think, football coach I had on the list. Scoutmaster, 2 people suggested Scoutmaster, and I already had Scoutmaster in there. So cot jockey, no. So taxidermist, I don't know if it was in State of Decay 1. What I was saying was that it's already in the list for State of Decay 2. Not that I can reveal any secrets about State of Decay 2, because of course I can't. What State of Decay 2? I don't know what you're talking about. Garlic burp? No, I do not have kitten juggler, but I'm also not certain what value that has for the zombie apocalypse. Let's see here.
Kitten juggler.
Dark Resi suggests a gardener because instead of cutting hedges with shears, you would cut heads off with shears. And also, I mean, gardener is actually one of those one of those really basic skills you definitely want to have.
I don't like him.
Not just because it'd be great with fighting zombies, but because it'd be great at actually feeding your community. Oh, he's pissed.
Oh, he didn't even flinch.
When you missed him? Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm in trouble.
Jkill says woodcarver. I'm pretty sure we've got at least a whittler. Got that as a hobby. Get whittler in there. Oh, Arky Game suggested a podiatrist. I don't think I had that one. So basically, what we do with these contest entries is usually I'll pick several of the most useful ones that are definitely getting into the game. But then whenever I get around to just adding a whole bunch of character traits and stuff to the game, I'll still look back at those old lists and I might add a bunch that didn't even officially win the event, just because I want to have as many things in there as I possibly can. So who knows? Maybe podiatrist will end up making the list. Survive this? Yes, I had blacksmith. The way I sort of put in the description was it's somebody who works in like a place like Colonial Williamsburg or Old Salem in North Carolina. One of those places where it's like they show you how things used to be done back in the old days. Yozard says Olympian. I think we've got a few different events, Olympic type events represented amongst the traits.
This is going from bad to worse.
So Undead Sonny just confirmed that Blacksmith I think was suggested actually twice by 2 different people, and it was definitely already on the list that we had. Han, I do have Twitch streamer on there. Yes. I don't mention Twitch specifically. I think I just say like game streamer or something like that. But yeah, we've got that on the list.
Oh man, I'm in trouble.
I keep saying I by accident, and that's kind of a faux pas. Usually, I like to use the third, the first person plural when talking about stuff we've got in the game, because really, I mean, a lot of these traits, the first list of traits that we entered in was actually pulled from contributions from all over the team. It wasn't just me sitting there by myself, just entering traits into the game. It was this large-scale community effort for the entire studio. We opened up a Google Doc, and basically everybody just poured all the traits that they thought of, all the names that they thought of into the game, and that's where we started. And then after that, I started going through things like for naming, I was going through like the Social Security website to find out like what the most popular names from different years were. Lots of baby naming sites. And then for traits, there was one point where I was actually going through job finding sites, like telling you like what are all the careers in agriculture that you could get or stuff like that. I was worried that somebody would look over my shoulder and think that I was looking for a new job or something.
I used to grease Zerks on a farm.
What is that? What is that? Was it a StarCraft farm? What is that?
No, Zerks are the little places along like an axle that you jam grease into.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And then I used to have to crawl inside combines, which was no fun at all.
So you should actually be your life history should be the source of several traits.
Maybe not.
Yeah, well, definitely. I want Zerk Greaser to be in there.
Then we'd have to spend half our time explaining what that is.
That's what the description box is for.
So I just got my butt handed to me by that ridiculous siege. And I still haven't found a home.
Cot Jockey saying you need some snacks.
I got lots of snacks now, Cot.
Dark Rusty says professional swimmer or just any kind of. I don't know if I've gotten into swimming yet. I mean, certainly the hazard of swimming is the fact that if we put a swimming trait in the game or a swimming skill in the game, it suggests that there's a swimming feature in the game.
Come on.
And so you got to be very cautious what you promise people. It's also yeah.
That's like putting helicopter pilot in there.
Yeah, it's like, do we get to fly helicopters? I'm like, hold your horses, everybody.
No.
I'm not making any promises there. Andy B, I have got all 3 of those on the list. So actually, Tinker, it was. You're thinking Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. I don't have Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, and Spy, but I do have I got Butcher and Baker in there because both of those would have the cooking skill and would probably come with knives and things like that, which sounded pretty good. And then I just threw Candlestick Maker in there too, so that people could get the trifecta if they were really lucky. Cerebral Amy says I've got 0 political traits in the game. So I do have a few political traits that are very party neutral. Like I've got political operative in there as a career. We've got we've got one trait that's hyper partisan, and it doesn't say which side the person's on, just that they are really, really angry about their politics. And then you, as a player, can decide which side you think they're on. Because the last thing we want to do is create sort of fodder for people to act out their genuine aggression from the real world in the game. We want people to have get into fictional aggression, and our game is all about fantasy fighting, not real world fights. So I'm trying to escape from this reality. Snowy Death Penguin says, "Hi, Brant."
Oh, thank you, by the way, Snowy Death Penguin, for the T-shirt. I got it yesterday. They made me a T-shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's super cool. And all I can say is that pay attention to State of Decay 2.
So, J. Kyle talks about growing up poor being a really an advantage for the zombie apocalypse, and that's true. I'm not sure if we've got a trait for growing up, that's actually one of my favorite ones that I've heard so far today.
Hard Scrabble.
Hard Scrabble. I do have one that's about growing up in the backwoods, where say like having it like where I grew up, a rifle was pest control, stuff like that. So I've got something like that, but I don't have growing up poor. I'm gonna make a note here. No, where are my notes? Notes.
Here, Feral.
Notes.
Here, Feral.
Do.
There he is.
Poor. So that actually illustrates one of the interesting challenges of coming up with a trait system. And without going into too much detail, so let's say that I go over to my desk and I add the grew up poor trait. I've got to somehow make sure that same character that gets that trait does not get the lived on a trust fund trait, which seems like the opposite experience. So because there is, that's one of the traits that's on the list is lived on a trust fund. And so if you roll up a character that's both of those, you could imagine. Maybe you could imagine writing a character that had both of those traits. Maybe somebody grew up poor, but then suddenly, their uncle died or something, and then left them this trust fund. And so you could write a character that way if you had a lot of time and detail to come up with the solutions. But when it's a randomly generated character in a game without a lot of bespoke writing for them, it just feels false, right? And so one of the most fun parts of this is coming up with an entire system for making sure that all of the traits on one character feel like a cohesive person and don't feel like they're just full of internal contradiction. Let's see here. Derek Sage suggests pornographer.
No need.
Just trying to think of the community benefits that might have. Han suggests split personality. Unfortunately, I'm looking for real world traits, and that's
Hello, Mr. Farrell.
That's extremely. I mean, I'm sure there are actual examples in the real world, but it's so vanishingly rare. I think people would have trouble believing it. And how would the character ever really express that in game? Unfortunately. Cloudcraft, I think I might have Warzone journalists on the list. Actually, we might have Warzone journalists on the list. Some kind of like maybe war photographer, something along those lines. DeBomb asks if car physics are going to be better in the sequel, and there's limits to how much I can go into, and of course, and not everything we're doing is final. But
how can they be better?
Specifically looking for what it feels like to kind of go off a minor ramp by accident and flip the car and lose it forever. I can definitely say that the time that I've spent playing State of Decay 2, that experience is a lot better. There are massive improvements on that score. I don't have nearly the fear of losing a car to something minor.
We couldn't have done better than the first game. And frankly, I take offense to that line at all.
But
I'm kidding.
I definitely. I mean, I can't get into specifics. There will be some time later on this year where we'll get to show you exactly what we're talking about. But yeah, it's better.
I'm going to speak for both of us here. Careful.
Okay.
In that, we apologize that we can't talk about details about State of Decay 2. We desperately want to, but there are many considerations above and beyond what we're allowed. There's people whose interest in this project are way above our pay grade, and so they're calling the shots. Someday we'll be able to inundate you with information and insight and all of our experiences working on this, but please bear with us a little longer.
You can see that I'm kind of busting at the seams, right? Like all the little tiny, the details that I'm revealing about the traits and the naming system and stuff like that are all very minor. They're not the kind of things that that marketing teams would necessarily worry about. Nobody's going to write an article in Kotaku about any of the things that I'm saying here, and so but you could I want to talk about this, right? We both want to talk about this.
Let's make up something controversial.
Cerebral emesis. We do have a social justice warrior trait. No, we don't. But cerebral emesis, stuntman. That is one thought that we've had. Yeah. Let's see here. So.
I will say, cerebral. That thing you sent us. will make an appearance. That's all I'll say.
So both Brand and I, each of us has kind of got our own little territory in the game that we have a lot of like, sort of reign over, where Brant with the weapons and me with sort of the character building elements, and so like there's little like leaks and things like that we sort of can't hold back, but as far as like larger details about the game, how it works, its feature list, that kind of stuff,
I do like working here, so I don't want to lose my job over saying something too much.
Yeah. So at some point, I mean, we've already said that we're definitely gonna have a lot more to say after E3, and E3 is, guess what, next month. So we're gonna do this Twitch stream early in June, which is before E3, and then E3 is gonna happen, and then I don't actually know what the rules are going to be after that point. I think that there's a lot of decisions that still need to be made about exactly how much we'll be able to reveal and talk about, but certainly there will at least be something new that you will have gotten to find out at that point. And then whatever that thing is, we will be able to talk about that thing. And then slowly, one thing at a time, I'm sure, we're going to get the opportunity to reveal more about the game, tell you what we're working on, bring more people in here, to talk about their work. It's going to be a lot of fun. But just not quite yet. We're just like holding on with our fingernails. And the thing is, I mean, this is actually pretty good timing. I feel like we're one of the reasons why we haven't shared much. Part of it is because we just don't have a ton of control over stuff like this. But then part of it is just the fact that we're veterans. We've been through game development cycles many times, and like we know how much things change, right? You can tell everybody this is what we're planning to do with the game that comes out whatever a number of months from now. This is what we think it's going to look like, and you could be completely wrong, because when all of those features get in, you could look at them and go, oh wait, no, that's not fun. That was fun in my head, but that was not fun in the real game, and we have to change a bunch of things. And then and you kind of turn yourself into you can kind of just feel a little bit like an idiot, because you went and told a bunch of people that the game was going to be a certain way, and then it has to be another way, because that's hopefully the people are understanding, and they and they look at what you've built and they realize, oh yeah, they did the best they could, they took the things that weren't working, they made them work. Hopefully folks will get on board, but it's also you want to know that the thing you're sharing is real by the time you sell it. So when around the time that E3 hits, we're actually going to be at a pretty good point in the development of the game, where we're going to be a lot more confident about what is and is not going to be in the game, what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to talk about. And now, I talk too much.
Don't overpromise is something that you always have to keep in mind.
Cerebral Mimesis, nightclub bouncer. Yep. So basically, Sonia gave me a giant, like a spreadsheet of all of the answers, and I basically went down the list and just started marking them GMTA, which internet speak for great minds think alike, and like seriously, like 80% were like things that people on the team had already come up with. Which is so good. It feels like our team over here, what they think of, is so aligned with what fans of the game think of. It makes me feel really confident that the folks here, are of sort of the same mindset as the folks out there.
Jeffrey's just being nice. Be original, you guys. Come on. Jeez. I'm kidding. We love you.
Yeah, no, there were several very original ideas that came out that we hadn't done yet. So I think at some point soon, I don't know if she has already, Sonia and Nicole, they're going to be announcing the ones that were that made the biggest difference to the list. Yeah, so I should actually start reading instead of, this is my problem, right? I sit there, I start talking about a subject I care about, start just talking, and I don't read the chat. It's bad. Sonia and Nicole, if I missed anything important, please make sure you call it out. And if anyone doesn't have their stuff called out by Sonia and Nicole, what they're saying is that you're not important.
So anything by Cot Jockey, you can just pretty much, forget about.
Cot Jockey says competition vapor, like someone who vapes, I imagine.
I didn't know there was a competition for that.
Oh my gosh, you haven't seen the smoke ring competitions and things, because vaping has such thicker, fatter, nastier smoke.
No, because I'm working too much to actually look at those videos, because these guys expect so much out of us. Man, I just want to take a vacation.
Derek Sage brings up Junkie. And that's an interesting one because there's several places where we thought of representing like psychological problems or just genuine like life struggles, and we were always very careful with that because we don't want to sort of caricature real struggles of real people. And so there's here and there we put in things that seemed appropriate, like a lung cancer survivor. I think we've got in there somewhere. There's a few different like representations of like psychological ailments, but in most of those cases we didn't try to really mechanically represent it because we wanted to sort of show that people who have various psychological situations are very diverse. There's not like everybody who has this, they're all this way. Didn't want to give them too much of a mechanical impact because it feels like a commentary on real people. And so in most cases we either avoided putting something like that in at all, or we put it in a way that we in the most respectful way we could without putting a lot of mechanical weight on it. A Blade of Meat Shield suggests being Brant would be a trait, probably a negative trait, I imagine.
Didn't you get banned? Yet?
And yeah. So Cerebral Mimesis, I do have bartender on the list. I don't have what you're suggesting, but let's see here.
I don't have enough. Oh, come on.
Oh, so Undead Sonya's reminding me that that we don't have anything promised for E3 besides a release date. And wait. So anything I say, don't listen to me. Listen to Sonya. She knows what she's talking about. And we have got somebody joining us.
Yay!
I'm gonna scooch over a little bit. Mark Lautenbach. He is an old friend of both mine and Brant's. We were talking about mine and Brant, the fact that Brant and I, each of us have these different storied career histories, and both of those histories contain Mark Lautenbach. So
he is the string that binds us all together.
Yes, the string that binds us together.
So, for those of you who wonder what I've said, so this is Mark Lautenbach. Did I spell that right?
You did, in fact.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so Mark Lautenbach. So he is an artist on the team. Do you want to talk about a little bit just like what your role is on the team? We're limited in what we can say about
besides
actual
hand
State
and
of
foot
Decay 2,
model.
But
Besides hand and foot model. So they call me the carpenter. I am in charge of making basically anything that's a building, whether it be houses or home sites, basically the physical structure of the building.
So like the shape of the building, the interior layout, the textures,
Yep.
the whole shebang. Just you build the thing.
Yep. Just making dirty wood textures and dirty floor textures and dirty ceiling textures.
Pretty much just dirty. Everything's just
making everything
absolutely filthy.
Yep.
If you ever feel like have to wash your hands or something after you've been doing your job.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, everything starts out really nice, and then it just gets worse from there.
I know that I've worked with you in the past on like smaller scale games where basically like one environment artist would be in charge of one entire level, right? And and you get down to basically everything from the landscape to the structures to the set dressing to just every tiny detail would belong to one person.
Yes.
But on a game this scale, it's a little different.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And I mean, it happens a little bit because everyone's like, well, we need this done, and everyone wears all the hats. But it's kind of nice to have like, okay, you're in charge of the one thing, so you can really concentrate and make everything kind of like it all belongs to one world.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. But so you end up kind of like having this almost like assembly line process, right? Where it's like one person builds a building, the other person set dresses it, another person places it in the level. And you all kind of build off each other a little bit, play off each other.
Yep. And sometimes we all need to get in the same file at the same time. That's always good times.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Please tell me I killed him.
So, like, how did you get into art?
No, I didn't.
It was always there. I didn't really get into it. It was just there from the beginning. And it was kind of clear from an early age, even early art classes from like, first grade.
Yeah.
That's kind of where that was the eggs in my basket. I'm sure that's the most appropriate term I could have used.
When you so was you loved to draw when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Were there other like media you'd work in or anything like that? Was it basically just drawing pictures?
I would create art out of anything I could get my hands on, and fortunately I had some folks that just leaned into that. You know, Mom got me a giant roll of newsprint and just said, go to town.
Nice, that's cool.
And said, can you not draw things on the walls? That would be great. And then it just proceeded from there, you know, through high school and through college and through various jobs. That is just what I started doing.
How'd you make the transition from paper to digital art and to 3D modeling? Was that a kind of a...
That was kind of a on-the-job necessity. So back at Humongous, it was all 2D art games.
Oh, so you started in the business as a 2D artist.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then transitioned to 3D art.
Yeah, I made T-shirts as my first job. And so obviously that was all 2D. And then went to Humongous, and that was all 2D kind of pixel art games. And
That's where I met Mark.
Yep, and that's where I met Brant.
Cool.
And but then, you know, 3D, you know, hit like a ton of bricks, and like, well, we got to make some 3D games, and they're like, here is Maya, learn it, use it. I'm like, all right. You know, they had no schools to teach such things. You just, you know, there wasn't YouTube videos, there was none of that stuff. It's like you ask someone else who already knew how to use it, and if they didn't know, you just figured it out.
It's weird looking back to like that time, like working in the game industry at a time before YouTube existed.
Yes.
It's like I mean, my
Yep.
kids wouldn't even understand that. Like YouTube has been a central part of their lives, their entire existence, right? And just everything was different back then.
My boy watches YouTubes of people playing games more than he plays games.
Yeah, no, same here. My actually my 2-year-old son watches Let's Play videos of baby toys. So there's like these YouTube channels where like these adults will play with baby toys the proper way,
Yep.
and he'll watch them and like they'll be counting things and naming colors and doing all this stuff, and he's just like wrapped with attention.
And nowadays, if you can't find something on, like, say you got a problem that you want to solve,
I'll
you can't
solve
find it on YouTube, you're like, this is bad. I've got a bad problem.
I've got a problem no one else in the world has ever had.
Even thought to make a video of this, and yeah, that gets frightening.
So, let's see here. Yeah, Cloudcraft says that, you know, that he technically learned Maya in school, but he really just figured most of it out himself. It's like, it's formal schooling in a piece of software. It seems like it would just be really different anyway from learning it on the job.
Well, when I went to art school, they just started introducing computers into the classroom.
That's just being
That's
there at
how
all.
long ago this was.
We have enough. Oh, no, we don't. Darn it.
And then all the students knew the computers more than the teachers, unfortunately. But 3D this is before Toy Story, this is before all that stuff. You know, the Money for Nothing video was about as much 3D as any of us had ever seen. And obviously things have
You got the sense that was programmer art anyway, right? It's like the people they called in to do that video were probably the people who had designed the software that made it possible.
Which is
I'm
funny.
making that up. I have no inside knowledge about that video.
When I tell people what I do, and it's like, oh, 3D artist, like, well, do you program that in? And I'm like,
There's just no sense, right?
No.
Of like what people do.
unless you've seen it done, it's really, really hard to describe what physically we're doing.
Yeah,
It's more sculpting than
It's
anything else.
very much sculpting.
yeah. When I was a kid, I remember like
Where'd you come from?
just for fun. I don't know. My parents got like an AutoCAD program, and I looked and I poked around with it like to learn how it was done. And it was like, you know, putting in like math formulas basically to generate these shapes.
Yeah.
And I imagined that that's just how it worked for everything.
Yes.
For a long time, until actually I went to my first game development job and I had to build a level for the first time in Maya. And then I was like, oh, this is way better
Yes.
than anything I saw.
This, you rolled a community that is really frustrating.
It's just like it's like these 3 dorky white dudes. Like,
Yeah. Getting 3 dorky white dudes together is just a bad idea.
It's the worst possible combination. Oh, great.
well, Nicely done, Brent.
No, that was terrible, because now I'm screwed.
Now you can't leave.
I can't leave.
Welcome to your new home.
Oh, no.
That'd be funny if that was your last bullet, too, so
Yeah.
you really couldn't shoot the...
One bullet left.
Yeah, Derek Sage got that joke.
Apparently, if I throw a Molotov out there, it'll burn the gas away.
Yeah, we got some agreement in the chat that basically that on the job experience it's a much more important teacher than sort of than formal schooling in a lot of stuff that you didn't miss much by not having Maya in school necessarily.
I went to school for Maya, a trade school, after I got my English degree and realized I was going nowhere. And that basically set me up to be able to like turn the program on. I learned everything about games and how to make them in my first 3D job, which was making Voodoo Vince.
And Maya it's animation, it's real-time art, it's pre-rendered art. There's so many things you can do with it. And so as game developers, we use a very small portion of what Maya's potential is.
Yeah, it's
also trying to learn, like, what do I need to know from the sea of information?
Yeah, like any general class teaching you just generally how Maya works is going to teach you like 90% of what it teaches you is going to be irrelevant to the job that you need to do, right?
Well, now they have game schools that they teach you very specifically. This is what you need to know.
And they teach you a lot of the ones that I've heard of that I know more about. Like they teach you by having you make a game. They're like, okay, make a game. And now learn the tools along the way that you need in order to make the game.
Yeah.
Which is that's the only way I've ever been able to learn to use a tool anyway. Anytime I've sat down just to try to learn a tool by itself and I don't have some larger motivation, I don't learn anything. I can't. You need a purpose.
Plus, they teach collaboration with all the other schools that it takes to make a game. You got your programming and design and all that stuff. And
Who collaborates with design, really? Nobody. Sorry, Jeffrey.
I was reading the chat. I wasn't paying any attention to you guys.
Well, good.
So a good designer.
Yeah, exactly. Not paying no attention to artists is the first qualification of the job. We start there and we move forward.
I only see Jeffrey once a month when we do these streams.
Yeah, no, exactly. We sit across the office from each other and that's it. So I Am Lost says, I love this game. Every time I play, I start from scratch. About 4 million zombies killed. Cannot wait for State of Decay 2. You guys blew me away with State of Decay. Thank you so much for the kind words, I Am Lost.
4 million?
Of the people in here, I think Brant's the one who gets to take the most credit for the original State of Decay, since I showed up right after it was released. And Mark is actually one of our more recent hires. He's been a contractor for a while, but we just hired you full time.
Yep.
And we're all extreme. Like, I don't think I've seen quite so much adulation in our Slack channel as when Jeff Strain announced that you were being hired full time. Just like party hat, like party favors and confetti, little icons flying all over the place. It was great. We're all super excited to have him on here.
I assume that was a stock program that did all that.
Yeah, no, that was just people being excited to have you, and also excited to have buildings. Those.
Yes, because hanging outside with zombies is not nearly as fun.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So, just for the record, I put an ambulance instead of a party hat when we hired
Yes. Cryptic yet awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. By the way, so yeah, Jeff Strain made a comment today, and lots of people put little hearts on it in Slack, and I put an apple for no reason, just because it kind of looked like a heart, but wasn't a heart, and I wanted it to be different. And both Sonia and Nicole backed me up with that apple, and I appreciate it. Thank you for having my back.
It's important.
Yeah. No idea what I was saying, but you guys said it with me. And I appreciate it. Oh, yeah, so Undead Sonya says, the boss said, we hired him full time. Now stop telling me we have to hire him. And that's the people we're celebrating, so. Let's see here. Cloudcraft says that some of the best game programs that train people in making games actually start with board and tabletop games because they're so much faster to build, to iterate on. You don't have to learn quite as many technical skills, and you can start learning the theoretical skills of how games come together. We actually, there was a period of time when we were getting our technology kind of stood up from scratch, where the design team had no real game to work with on State of Decay 2. So we did that actually. We were prototyping ideas and stuff as board games, and like like card games and things like that, just to kind of get some ideas out there and test out some of our thoughts. And so that stuff is genuinely valuable. I've known lots of people who have used or can use board game techniques to prototype ideas for video games. What do I work on? Video games. That's right. That's what that word is.
It's like learning to, when you start as an artist, you start out with a pencil because everyone knows how to use that already. So you're not trying to learn how to use the pencil, you're trying to learn how to draw.
Yeah, exactly. The faster you can get to the learning how to draw part of it, with the fewest obstacles in the way, the better off you're going to be.
Oh, I didn't do it. I'm trying to do Cot Jockey's secret move. The one where you hide in plain sight and stealth kill a zombie.
Derek Sage is like, what's a pencil?
Har har.
It is weird. Like I remember when I first started in the game industry, paper and pens were like really important.
Yes.
I had to make sure I had enough pens that I could take notes on things. I had a lot of paper. I would be printing things, printing out documents to share with people across the team, and all this stuff. And like now, everything is like all our documents are on the cloud. Nobody prints anything. Like if somebody prints something out, something weird has happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you're signing your pink slip or something.
Yeah, we have a few like dinosaurs who still carry notebooks around from meeting to meeting, but they're weird and we make fun of them. And I have this tendency, I'm kidding, of course, but I have this tendency to, whenever we're erasing a whiteboard now, I keep calling it deleting the whiteboard, which is not the word you use in that case, but it's erase just isn't a thing that you think of as often.
I've actually turned a pencil around to the eraser side and thought undo. Expecting the page to go blank, and I'm like, oh man, this is getting bad.
Gotta work on this now.
Yeah.
So Cot Jockey's explaining the special Cot Jockey move. Just like a normal stealth kill, it's your back to the Zed's front.
Oh, was that what I was doing wrong? I wasn't turned away? In disinterest? Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, it's like that sort of the final Bruce Lee move where you like hit the guy behind you with the back of your fist.
I like that. All right, Ed's going to go out and do the Bruce Lee move. Or the Corey move.
Zephyr Whisper says that what we should do with the whiteboard is just to pick it up off the wall and shake it to clear it off.
Coding.
So I told you guys I was going to ask you for a little bit of help with developing the game. So one of my favorite features that we're working on with State of Decay 2 is nicknames for characters, because when you're referring to a character throughout the UI and in the dialogue and everywhere, you want to have a simple, memorable name for each character. So not you don't want their name to be Brant Fitzgerald, because that's just too long and awkward to say.
Terrible name.
You want it to be Brant or Beardo.
Here we go. Here
whatever,
we go.
Here we
Okay,
go.
watch this.
Let's see here.
I've done this a couple times.
For
I'm
it.
super proud of myself. No!
Oh, it didn't work.
The other guy
screwed
ruined
up.
it.
Okay. What about this one? Let's see if we can do it again.
Yeah!
Nice! Nicely done.
Well done, sir.
Oh, you even got the special
I got
camera
the kill
move.
cam. Thank you, Corey.
Okay. Anyway, so nicknames. So the basic idea is any first name that a person has, any last name that a person has, or any trait that a person has could potentially give them a nickname. And so the problem is, can I come up with enough cool nicknames? Well, I can't. I can't possibly come up with enough cool nicknames by myself. And so I've been polling the team for cool nicknames, and I wanted to ask you guys, what is the coolest nickname of any like real person that you've ever met? Because I need more like source material to draw from. I've asked my kids. They've got a few friends that have cool nicknames. I've gone through my Facebook friends list and tried to find interesting people there. Try to make up a few, but I need ideas. So. I bladed meat shield. I'm not repeating that one.
Hey, don't get banned.
But like for instance, my daughter has one of her best friends is named Madison, and she goes by Mad Dog. It's a weird nickname that her teacher gave her because he thought he was being funny, and he actually was, and it's a pretty funny name for a little girl. And so Mad Dog. So if you have a character named Madison, there's a chance that they might go by Mad Dog. And so I'm just looking for other names like that. If you guys want to suggest in the chat any other names like that. A Blade of Meat Shield suggests Skeeter, which is that's short for mosquito, isn't it? Like, isn't that like a name a name that you would just give a little kid somewhere in the deep south to just sort of make fun of them being a little tiny bug?
I know a kid named Skeeter.
Was that why? Is that where the name came from? That's where I've been assuming the name came from.
No, he was a farm kid.
It's okay, farm kid. There you go. Derek Sage says that they had a guy named Derpa at their squadron. What was Derpa for? the problem with nicknames you get from the military is you wonder if they might be secretly obscene. So we've got to make sure we know. Goonie says, my friends call me Rice Pants sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's another one that I assume must be secretly offensive. I'm not exactly sure why.
We will always assume that it's the worst case scenario, just so you guys know.
Finding a nickname that isn't secretly offensive.
So the Joker is suggesting that somebody could have a name like Martin Coolshirt. Unfortunately, we don't have it set up so that your character model can produce nicknames. But if we did, that would be amazing, because then we could have people go by actual physical, or just like the hat that they wear or something like that. But we do not have the infrastructure for that.
You like that move, Mark?
That was awesome. Starsky and Hutch.
Yep.
So Booth says that they have a coworker whose last name is Battles. Legitimately Battles. Okay, so one thing we can do, I think, is have somebody go by their last name. Particularly like military and police background characters will use their last name as their nickname instead of their first name. And so I should Sonya, make a note of Battles. I should definitely add that one to the list.
I did have a commanding officer named Slaughter.
Really?
Yep.
Was it Sergeant Slaughter?
No, it was Major.
Oh!
Major Slaughter.
Even
That's
better.
just as good.
Even
Wow.
better.
And the first time I met him, I was still, I still had some hair. And so the first thing I said was, really? And did I learn some justice right then?
Shot his hair off.
No, I said I still had hair because I was so new that I had not even shaved my head yet.
So Takuro Spirit suggested if we get another character named Brock Choi, that we should have him go by Noodles. Unfortunately, so I can't base a nickname on having two names together because any pairing of two names, there's already thousands of names on the list. Mm-hmm. Any pairing of two names is going to be so rare that it wouldn't be worth developing that. But we could just have people named Brock go by Noodles randomly with no explanation, and I think that would be fine, right? You just have a character whose name is Brock Johnson or something like that, but they go by Noodles all the time. That just seems good to me. Yeah.
Oh, Brock Choi. We hardly knew ye.
Let's see here. So we got Battles.
Lumpy's like always a good one.
Lumpy.
I don't know where I got that from.
We can definitely put Lumpy in there. That's
Mark, did we just experience some pain from your childhood?
No. Lumpy happens to be on my t-shirt.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Lumpy.
All right. My chef is going to go out because that's a smart thing to do. Take your experienced and specialized humans out into the deadly world. And because it's Jeffries, and I don't care.
Oh, so Derek Sage says that his friend got the name Derpa because he would say Derpa when he didn't land straight. It sounds like he's an airman. When he doesn't land straight, or he's a pilot. And his last name started with Erpa, so they called him Erpa Derpa. And then just shortened it to Derpa. That was, I performed a similar operation on one of my daughter's names to come up with her nickname that secretly appears in the game. Let's see here. I Am Lost says that he was called by his last name all through high school, which is Shepherd. That's a pretty good one to go by, honestly. And
Shep.
Taguro says, I will call him Noodles. Okay, let's see here. So Cloudcraft asks, how specific are you getting with the positions of characters who have armed forces backgrounds? Originally, I was getting more specific, and then Fogey suggested that I actually back off a little bit. Like I had different traits for different branches of the special forces and stuff like that. But the issue is when you get really specific, people start to get more and more concerned that you're getting things exactly right, and so if there's any risk of you getting it wrong,
Yes.
you want to back off a little bit. So now I've got a few different versions of a trait called Special Forces that gives you different combinations of skills, but I'm not specifically saying that one of them is Delta Force, another one's Navy SEAL, another one's Marine Force Recon or whatever.
Yeah,
Letting them all be
because
their own thing.
inevitably, without somebody on staff who's been there and done that, you're gonna get stuff wrong, especially in highly specialized operators like that.
So-
And we don't want to, get anything wrong like that.
So Undead Sonya is reminding everyone that even though I'm sitting here being extremely open about the work that I'm doing because I'm enlisting you guys in it, we're still not promising anything except for a release date when it comes to E3, and we're not, anything that I'm talking about right now could easily change. Like I say, oh yeah, we've got that trait, we got this trait. We could cut any of these traits if they end up causing a problem. Or, oh yeah, I'll put that name in. Or, oh yeah, this name is here. Unless there's a problem with it, and then we're going to cut it. So do not take anything we're saying here as a promise. We're enlisting you guys to get involved and help us, and this is going to be a lot of fun. But definitely don't take anything we're saying here like it's gospel.
Yeah.
Because, we still got some time to finish this game.
All we ask is you judge the game on the game we give you and not the game that people talk about beforehand, because what we give you is our best effort, right? And a lot of times we will sit here and wishful thinking, talk about stuff that's important to us, and it might not translate into a possibility in the game, or we may, features get cut all the time.
Yeah.
And features get added back, and all sorts of, it's always in flux. And so that's, again, the danger of any promises you make ahead of time. So
Cerebralomesis listed some nicknames: Neebs, Duralius, Simon, that are pretty interesting. So yeah, we'll want to take those down. Takuro Spirit asks if a character whose name is Forrest, if they could go by Gump. We would probably try as hard as we can to avoid accidentally stepping on, or even, especially intentionally, stepping on other people's trademarked characters.
Yeah.
Neebs, Duralius.
that would be a
Actually, because those are references to an actual, was it a...
Neebs Gaming, the Battlefield Friends. And all that.
Okay, so we probably couldn't steal, unless they explicitly gave us permission, and even then it might still be
They might.
nebulous. We would have to avoid, using names that are already owned by other folks. Yazard suggests Raj as a driver's ed teacher. What was Raj short for? Is it short for Roger, or maybe the last name Rogers, or what? Let me know where that comes from.
From What's Happening? Everyone remembers that show.
Oh, I
right?
missed that show. I learned to dance from Rerun.
So Batcat asks
That
if
explains many things.
nicknames are earned. So when I talk about nicknames, the way we're talking about using them is not as these aren't like epithets. These aren't like honorifics, like the Z Smasher or something like that. These are just the name that somebody uses day to day, the most common way of addressing them. And so they're not earned. They're actually the idea is for them to be very consistent. So the first day you meet this person, they go by this name, and the last moment with them, when they probably inevitably die to zombies, that's the name they're using. So you have this sort of through line. You always know what this character is called, no matter what else you got. Mr. Jedi Kyle, I believe I have already added your name into the game, so I think you're good there. Snowy Deathbang was like, I just want to play the game. Okay, yeah, totally. I want to play it too. I play it every day, but I want to play the finished version, so I'm excited for us to get there eventually.
Snowy Death Penguin, by the way, Mark is working on a special thing for you and your wife. So just wanted to let you know.
But again, may or may not make it in.
True.
So, okay, yeah, so
Secrets.
this battle's name should definitely get into the game because people keep bringing it up. So J. Kyle says if we have a dim-witted or reckless trait, then they should get the name Leroy.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, that's true.
He knew.
And
Oh, this guy's doing surprisingly well.
J. Kyle says he works with a guy named L. Rock. Is that short for something? Where did that come from?
L. Rockley, I think, is
Is their last name Hubbard?
Oh,
Or
come on now.
I knew a guy named Aaron in high school who goes by A. Rock, so I threw that one in.
Snacks, make pie.
Andy says he knew a security guard named Stitch due to the numerous scars on his shaved head. Take note of that one. That's a good one.
I like it. Stitch.
Yep. So yeah, what I'd have to do is make a new trait, which is I've got a bunch of scars on my head, which will probably be hidden by the character model's hair or hat or hood or whatever. So the player can't ever check it, but then they can go by Stitch.
Like we've recently learned about shark skin.
Yes. From Branson on Twitter.
Skin is smooth.
So Goonie says they missed the introduction of our guest, and so we should remind everyone that we are talking to Mark Lautenbach, who is a 3D artist on the team, and he's specifically responsible for the architecture, basically, of State of Decay 2. He builds the buildings. We talked about the fact that it's kind of an assembly line type process, and so you've got this one part of the game that is just your baby.
Mm-hmm. My baby.
So we got other folks who take his buildings and decide where they belong. We got people who decide what crap to scatter around through other buildings to make it look like someone died there.
As awful as I make them look, there's other people whose job is to make them look even worse.
And he means awful, of course, like covered in gore and grime and mess.
It started
not
out as a
poorly
nice little
constructed.
model home and turned out to be, something bears lived in, and it's good times.
Because I'm sort of the designer in charge of putting names on things. One of my other jobs is also naming the buildings, and so we got a bunch of placeholder names in buildings in the game right now in places where we haven't fully fleshed them out yet. But my favorite thing is to sort of take a pass through a map when it's been through some improvement, and start naming the buildings based on their appearance. So I'm like grimy white building, green building looks like someone exploded in it, or
as you're playing, you don't want to go that building that's got the rock next to it. You want
you don't have a name,
You want the big green building with looks like a pudding fight happened in it.
I want
pudding building.
I want to call a building a pudding fight building.
Pudding fight.
That sounds amazing.
I'm on it. Oh no.
So. So Derek says, so we go to Mark if we notice a missing mess on the floor. So now some of the floor messes...
In-game.
Yeah, in-game. Yeah. Hi Cadet asks, is there any way to find out if your name was used? Will there be a list released at a later time? We don't really have a great way to export a list and just sort of publicize it. And I kind of, I like the idea of people sort of being able to sort of discover names by surprise rather than just sort of referring to a list. If there's once we've got the game more fully developed, did you throw a grenade on the car that you got into?
I threw the timer.
Oh, the timer. I thought it was a grenade.
I was desperate. I was desperate to do something because I got in way too deep right there.
A little bit.
But if you ever have a specific question about whether a specific name got into the game, once we've had time to implement everything, just check in with Sonia and she can ask me and I can look it up for you. So, I mean, I kind of don't want to publicize a list just because I want people to be surprised more. I don't want necessarily people to just be pouring through it and finding all the weird stuff, right? Because if you read all the weird stuff at once, it loses its charm. You want to be playing and have like 20 normal named characters and then some weirdo, and wonder where that name come from. Like that sense of surprise should be part of the experience. Undead Nicole says, "You're a wild man. Never go to the trailer park. Never."
That's good advice. Anytime.
Hey, come on. I know people who live in trailers.
Undead Nicole says, Easter eggs are the best, and Undead Sonia says, I vote for surprises.
Yes, Sonia wants surprises. We give Sonia what she wants.
Survive This suggests that there should be a Sasha in the game.
Oops, I forgot.
Go ahead and take that down. That's so the original game the original name list had like this weird preponderance of German names. I don't know where it came from. It's like half the last names were obscure German surnames, and a bunch of the first names too. And so like one of the things we did like in when we were working on Breakdown and other updates to the game, we kind of evened it out a little bit, so it wasn't quite as dominated by by that. But I'm sure that Survive This Deutschland felt quite at home with the original name list.
So Lautenbach may not make it into the game?
Oh, if you want it in, it's in.
Okay.
So I periodically remind the team, send me your names, send me your traits, send me anything you want to
No,
put in
I'm
the game.
black carding Mark's name.
I want that to be a nickname.
Lautenbach.
Lautenbach.
It rolls off the tongue.
Every time somebody
It'll
says
have a small percentage chance of being the nickname of the person that gets it. So yeah, I'll totally throw Lautenbach in there.
Come on, guys, go away from my house. Follow me.
There should be a high-end automobile.
So Cerebral Mimesis is asking, any plans for a possible meetup at E3? Honestly, at this point, the plans are not solid. We don't even know who's going to be there. So I think it would be premature, definitely, to talk about meeting up with anybody at E3.
Yeah.
And Sonya says officially, there will not be a meetup at E3. So there we go. Sonya has the official word. She says that we need to finish the game.
We still don't even know who's going, so.
Yeah, I'm sure that there will be somebody from the studio representing us there, but I doubt that it will be a full court press because there's so much work left to do. Takuro, I do not want to put revenge names into the game. For one thing, zombies don't have names; they've ceased to be human beings, and we don't. So no, we can't put your ex-girlfriend's name as a zombie in the game, so you can drop kick her. That would be, that's cruel. Maybe she wasn't the best girlfriend. I'm sure she doesn't deserve to be drop kicked as a zombie, though. Come on,
That's true.
let's be cool.
We're all about love here.
Yeah, we love humans. We're pro-human here at Undead Labs.
That's right. Well,
It's pronounced 48 says, can you name a Zed after me so I can finally be as dead as I feel inside?
Oh,
That is probably the most horrifying thing that's ever been said in our chat.
that's yeah. That
Pretty
beats
good, actually.
that beats anything that Ablative has ever said.
Derek Sage, instead of Farrell, can we use Lauren? You guys are starting to get really mean to people. My wife has a good friend named Lauren, and I was going to put her name into the game to represent her, not to represent somebody you want to be abusive towards. Now I feel bad. That's just so mean, guys.
One of our staff members is married to a Lauren, so that
There we go. Yeah.
if it goes in, it's going in a good way, no matter how bad you want.
I was gonna give it the nickname Lolly too, because that's a fun nickname for Lauren.
Or Ella. Ella is also Lolly.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll throw both of those in there.
There's also people named Farrell, so.
Hi Cadet says it's 2 p.m. Get back to work.
Johnny Farrell.
Okay, well, Hi Cadet, the stream police has spoken, and so yeah, we probably should wrap things up. So we've got a game to make. Thank you all so much for being here. It looks like other people actually have work to do too. So we will all bid goodbye to one another, but we want to especially thank Mark Lautenbach for showing up to the stream, giving us a little bit of his wisdom about art and telling us who he is. And yeah, so thanks to you. Thanks, Brant.
Bye, guys. We love you.
Yeah, mostly thanks to you guys. We love you tons, and we will see you later. Awkward sign off is go.